everyone, and thank you so much for coming back and joining me again for another Retro Fridays. Really excited for tonight's because I have picked a phenomenal one. I've picked a goodie, honestly, and as you can tell from the title, of course, it is the one and only classic, Batman Returns. What a movie. I just really want to quickly say that it's so hard for me to pick because my two all-time favourite Batman movies, I love them all, for goodness sake, for crying out loud. Absolutely love The Dark Knight. Absolutely, Heath Ledger was just wow. But Batman Returns, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight, obviously, and also Batman Begins are my two all-time favourite Batman movies. It's hard for me to pick because here's why. Of course, Batman Returns is super snowy and Christmassy, and if you've known me a while, you know that I love snow and I love Christmas. Anyone that has snow, send it to me because there is none here in Ireland. It's lashing outside. It's really heavy rain at the minute. So if it was Christmas time and someone asked me, okay, this time of year, what's your favourite Batman movie? Of course, it's going to be Batman Returns. But if someone was to ask me in general, it's so hard for me to pick, and I think maybe Batman Begins would only just get it. Maybe that's because Christian Bale's my favourite Batman, but Michael Keaton is my second all-time favourite Batman ever. And of course, Michael Keaton is Batman in this movie. So moving straight across, moving on in general. This movie was brought out in 1992, and of course it was directed by Tim Burton. Now, I do have my notes with me, guys, as always, because I don't want to forget anything that I want to say, and it was produced by Denise Denove. And every year I watch this in the month of November. It always has to be November and not December. I don't know why. I just have specific movies that I have sitting for the month of November, and I know in my head the ones that it is. It always starts off on the 1st of November, which is The Nightmare Before Christmas, which was on 2 weeks ago. And the later on in November goes, it's Batman Returns. And it's extremely icy from the get-go. It's snowy. And I just love that whole feel and vibe that Tim Burton was going for this entire movie. It is a phenomenal, how I would describe it, is dark gothic styled film. That's the best way to describe it. And how Tim Burton portrayed this whole movie, and also how he made Gotham City look and Gotham City actually feel, I just think was absolutely fantastic. And interestingly, Russian architecture and German expressionism was actually studied a lot for the making of the set of Gotham City. And Warner Brothers had such a massive set. Apparently it took up to 50% of their set at Warner Brothers, and it was that ginormous that poor Michelle Pfeiffer, aka Catwoman, Selena Kyle, she kept getting freaking well lost when she was going into her job every day, and I just think that's so funny. And the film, of course, was based around Christmas, so based around the time of goodwill. And I think, with going for the story of this movie and the characters and the vibe of the whole entire movie, that the fact that it was actually based at Christmas actually made the movie more interesting to me and even more fantastic and awesome. You've even got the Christmas light, the lighting of the Christmas tree, at the beginning of the movie. And I don't know, I just love the whole, sort of traditional style that Tim Burton decided to go for with the snow and the Christmas setting, literally throughout the whole entire movie, if that makes sense. And does anybody remember the Batman Returns game on the Sega Mega Drive? Oh my gosh, nostalgia feels here. And I feel super old when I say that, but you can let me know down in the comments if you actually remember that. I'd be really interested to know. And I actually have Arkham Origins on the PS3, and I absolutely love that game. And just sitting with the fire on and playing it on the PS3, that's going to be absolutely awesome. And when I watch this movie every year, it sort of reminds me, obviously since I've played the game, since it existed, or Arkham Origins, it really reminds me similar to this game because, of course, the snow throughout the whole entire movie. If you like the game, you can let me know if you have it. But this film really just proves, and I'm sure you'll all agree with me, guys, that you do not need to get a paintbrush with CGI on it and splash it the whole way across your whole entire movie. And that's what I love about Tim Burton. You know, we talked about Edward Scissorhands last week and everybody loved that. Thanks very much. You know, it shows that you do not have to have it splashed with CGI and a ton of special effects if you have a good story. And that is the thing. This movie had a fabulous cast, a fabulous script. It had sensational music score by the legendary one and only, oops, dropped my pen. Okay, I've just dropped my pen. With Danny Elfman. And a lot of my retro Fridays, I have to mention Danny Elfman because I watch all the good stuff and Danny Elfman does all the good stuff. And something that I forgot to mention, this just came into my head there before I dropped my pen. You know, maybe the pen was meant to drop for a reason because then dropped in my head that I remembered something. Shut up, Julie. Basically what I wanted to say was this movie, Batman Returns, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, guys, of course feel free to, you know, disagree, but for me personally, I find Batman Returns is the most gorgeous, most visually stunning, breathtaking Batman movie ever to exist. Talking on, you know, how it looks, the feel of it, just the whole entire thing in its entirety was the best visually, honestly. It's dark, it's gothic, it has a lot of, and Tim Burton uses a lot of dark hues. The whole way through this movie, you can see the dark hues that he uses, blacks and blues. You can see a ton of blacks and blues, quite obviously, throughout this movie. And I think that it suits it perfectly. It is visually very nice to look at. It's beautiful and suits the whole tone and setting of the movie, which is fantastic. Now, I want to talk about this music score by Danny Elfman. What I love about this dude is he knows how to sit down and compose music that perfectly just fits perfectly in place. It's like Lego or whatever, puzzle pieces. It just, things perfectly fit in place with every single scene that he's doing. From scene to scene, it all blends as well. Do you never have a movie where he does the music score and you think, oh gosh, that scene, it was a bit out of place, that music, or I don't really think that flowed within the tone of the movie? With Danny Elfman, you best be assured that, in my opinion anyway, that never actually happens. And what I loved about the music score from Danny Elfman in this, I love the guy, honestly, was, I'm not saying it sounded the exact same, I'm not saying it sounded the same, I'm just kind of saying it kind of gave me the vibes and the feels of, kind of reminded me of the music in Edward Scissorhands. Just absolutely stunning, just beautiful music in the movie. And of course we know Tim Burton loves the snow. You know, we've got snow all over this gosh darn movie, so you know Tim Burton loves the snow. But the thing is, you know, with the snow in this movie, it really suited it. You know, same with, you know, same of course with Edward Scissorhands, and it's just an outstanding cast of talented actors. And they're not just talented actors as of the time. You're talking about sensational, very highly skilled, talented actors that are still well known and loved today. I mean, you even had Michelle Pfeiffer in Ant-Man. Do you know what I mean? So this is the thing. They're not just actors that were, oh, these are famous actors right now. Oh, they're, you know, hip and hopping and happening or whatever. I don't even know. What am I even saying? But you get what I mean. They're still actors that are loved today. And it's a movie, this thing, you can watch this movie over and over again. It's like Tim Burton in general, you know, Beetlejuice, anything. You will keep watching it time after time and it doesn't age. To me, it doesn't age. To me, it doesn't get old. I enjoy it every single year that I watch it in November. And you can let me know what you think, but that's my own personal opinion. My favourite in this movie, in case anybody's interested, and I am dying to know who your favourite is in the comments below. Of course I love Batman because I love Michael Keaton, I say, and who doesn't love Batman? But my favourite character in this was Michelle Pfeiffer, who played the character Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman. Why is she my favourite in this movie? Because she absolutely kicked ass and she gave 120%, if that's even possible, into acting the character of Selina Kyle in this movie. And she literally gave it her all. The girl was absolutely sensational. Best freaking well Catwoman ever. In my opinion, I doubt anybody could top her performance as Catwoman. I mean, if you're ever going to be playing Catwoman, just, good luck if you're wanting to try and top her in your acting career, because, you're going to need a lot of luck. That's my opinion. And yes, I'm drinking out of the best TV show ever, Friends mug. I'm just going to take a little sip of coffee, guys, sorry. But back on to the point of what I was talking about. Going on to talking on Michelle Pfeiffer, this scene, one of my favourite scenes, now not my favourite scene, which I will get to, but one of my favourite scenes is of Catwoman and Batman on the rooftops, and that whole fight scene was just, between those two characters, was just phenomenal. What a kick-ass scene. You've got her in her Catwoman suit, you've got Batman, the awesome Michael Keaton Batman, fighting each other on the rooftops, and just the way it's shot and the feel of it, I absolutely love those two characters together. Now, my second, oh yes, I wanted to say as well, Batman, played by Michael Keaton in his Batmobile, going about in, the snow and having it really traditional and all looking, what more can you ask for, really? And I love the little touch, this is what I really want to get to, of Bruce Wayne. When he's in the car with Alfred driving it, of course, and he sees Catwoman, and he asks Alfred to stop pretty much, and then he goes down like an alley, and of course she's gone, and then he sees the cat, and that cat is so gorgeous, that black cat. I have always wanted a black cat, but my dog would be jealous, so I'm not going to get a cat. But I would love, if I did have a cat, it would be a black cat, and I would call it Salem, as in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, because I like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Not the later episodes, but I have it on DVD, all the seasons. Anyways, we're not talking about Sabrina, we're talking about Batman, Julie, so keep quiet. And of course she's gone at that point, and he lifts the cat up, and he, takes it back with him and takes it home. But what I love is I love the whole ending, because that is the ending, obviously. But you see Michelle Pfeiffer, aka Catwoman, standing, just looking up at the bat symbol, and I just think that is absolutely fantastic. Love how this movie ended, and I love that about his character, and I love that those little things were added in with the stray cat and him taking him. I just thought it was truly beautiful within his character. And what I noticed about that was that Tim Burton really understood the subtlety of Bruce Wayne's character. Like, he really got it. If that, in my personal opinion, that makes me feel like Tim Burton he really got it, if that makes sense. He really got Bruce Wayne. Now, Danny DeVito, I have to talk about. I love the guy. I have DVDs of, a lot of his movies. I love Twins with him and Arnie. Absolutely hilarious. If you haven't seen Twins and you like comedy and you like Arnie as well and Danny DeVito, you have to watch Twins. You can get it for cheap on eBay, trust me. But I can't praise him enough for his portrayal as Oswald Cobblepot, aka Penguin, in this movie. To me, he really did steal the show, but as I say, as good as he is, I'm just saying my favourite still is Catwoman, but at the same time, the guy did honestly steal the show as well as Catwoman kicking ass in this movie. But a lot of people, what I will say is, I know this movie focuses a lot on, obviously, Oswald Cobblepot, but also Catwoman as well, Selina Kyle. And I have heard that a lot of people think that those two characters very much overshadowed Batman in the movie. And I can kind of see in a way where you're coming from, because yes, he did kind of take somewhat of a backseat, but in my personal opinion, I don't have any issues with the screen time of Batman or Bruce Wayne. I don't have any issues on that, because I think as an overall sort of analysis, when you sit back and think about it, and I have sat back and thought about it quite a many times, and I sort of feel with how the movie was all put together with those three characters was quite smartly done by Tim Burton and everyone who worked on the movie, and I don't really feel that there was massive overshadowing done. That is just my opinion, and I love the interaction between Selina Kyle and Penguin especially. I really love the interaction between Selina Kyle and Batman, and again Batman and Penguin. So I think it all kind of worked in well and blended in well. That is my opinion. So just in case anybody was wondering, I'm not sure if anybody was thinking that, but you can let me know, do you think Batman was overshadowed in this movie? The other thing I wanted to talk about was Christopher Walken, of course, who plays the villain Shrek in this movie. And as a child, I can remember, even as a teenager, he freaked me out, especially, you know, when you're like a teenager and you're sitting in your room at night time and you're maybe supposed to be sleeping to get up for school the next morning, and you're sort of like 14, 15 and it's on really late at night, like maybe 11:30 or something like that, or 12 midnight, and you're just sort of thinking, he's freaking the hell out of me, you know, this character. So that's the whole point in a villain. You're supposed to be freaked out by them. I'm not saying I'm like crazy freaked out by him now, but he did very well at his portrayal as a villain in this movie, I thought. I still absolutely laugh, and it really hurts my stomach laughing every single year without a fail. One of my favourite funniest one-liners. There's a lot of funny, you know, one-liners in this movie, and one of my favourites is definitely when Shrek says to Batman, "What are you doing dressed up like Batman," or whatever, and Selena Kyle says, and it's the way she says it, and her hair's like a complete and utter mess towards the end, and she says, "Because he is Batman, you moron." And it's the way she says it, like, "Because he is Batman, you moron." Like, I'm not even trying to do an impersonation right now of how she done it, because no one can do it like she can. That was not an attempt. That was just me saying that's kind of like what, anyway. But you know what I mean. That is a classic, hilarious moment. Michelle Pfeiffer, I don't know, I just thought she just was absolutely phenomenal. And before Shrek pushed her out the window, what I absolutely love, what he asked her is, what did curiosity do to the cat? And she said, "I'm no cat." I thought that was so fantastically well timed, that line. And then he pushed her out of the window. Absolutely fantastic, because you're sort of thinking like, not for too long. I think you might turn into something like that in a couple of moments. So yeah, my all-time favourite scene, here you go guys, off Catwoman, is when she goes back to her apartment. And I absolutely love something that the three in I love that Tim Burton done was, you know, the really bright neon pink lights in her apartment. It actually says hello there. But then when she goes around and she sort of like smashes a couple of the letters off, it then says hell here. And then of course she goes and makes her awesome black leather Catwoman sit, and she's all dressed in it. And the shot is actually taken from outside the apartment, and it was just so well and cleverly shot. Love that whole entire scene. And she's standing there in her Catwoman sit, and behind her is the hell here sign from outside of her apartment. The way it's shot, I just think it's absolutely fantastic. Really, she looks super cool in the suit. And the music in that entire scene was just, it made it even more the better. Of course, Danny Elfman's perfect in every scene, like I said earlier, but it just adds to the awesomeness and the coolness of Michelle Pfeiffer, in my opinion. And I also love the scene of Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle dancing towards the end. That's probably my second favourite scene of Michelle Pfeiffer, or Selena Kyle, or whatever you want to call her. Penguin is hilarious. Danny DeVito, he gives it his all as well, same as Michelle Pfeiffer. And I'm just going to say it, I love the line where he walks over to Catwoman, says, "Just the pussy I've been looking for." Honestly, there's so many funny scenes between them two, but my second favourite is probably when they're both standing on top of the rooftop, and he has a bottle of bubbly, and she's standing and he pours her a glass and he goes, some bubbly. It's just the way he says it. It just, you know, and he's like, "Oh, I think you're sending out all the right signals, or all the wrong signals," whatever it is he says. You know, pretty much trying to say like, "Oh, you're coming off as a bit of a flirt," or whatever, you know, like in this suit and everything, you know. It's absolutely hilarious, because he is, you know, full on flirting with her, and that between those two, it's just absolutely hilarious the way they sort of had that added in there. Honestly, it's just absolutely hilarious. The comedy is what I mean. The comedy that was added in with those two actors, those two characters, they bounced off each other so well. They really, really did. But, you know, we'll have to get to the serious dark part of the movie. You know, it's yes, there's humour in it, but it still sticks to the darkness. You know, we have the whole dark story of, we know the history of Oswald Cobblepot, you know, and we know his past, we know about his parents, you know, and we know that in this movie, of course, he was portrayed like, oh, he's a complete freak and everything, and he just wants to be accepted by Gotham, and that's the point in the movie, you know, very much so focused on. He's wanting to be accepted by the people of Gotham, and, you know, we all know about the sad and dramatic history of when he was a baby. It shows us that from the start of the freaking Mill movie. So, you know, we're well aware of that, and we really do feel for his character, but we also know that there is humour to his character as well, which is hard to actually do, may I add. It's very difficult you have to be a really good director and producer to know what you're doing, and scriptwriter to know what you're doing, to actually have a dark tone, sort of, I suppose, gritty movie, yeah, gothic-y, but at the same time be able to add humour and lightheartedness to it and have the whole sort of like Christmassy vibe going on. It's just so... What I love about this movie is it's so freaking well smartly done. I love Tim Burton and everyone who worked in this movie. Use our freaking classic epic legends. Don't know where that came from, but it's the truth. Now, the graveyard scene of Penguin at his parents' grave, Tucker and Esther's graves, that with the snow and he's in the dark and everything. This movie's dark in general, but you know what I mean. And how that whole entire scene was shot is just fantastic. And I think, honestly, it probably would be one of my favourite scenes of Danny DeVito as Penguin. I just think it was just so, so well done. And I do personally feel so sorry for him, even still, watching the movie, because, as I say, you know his past, you know what's went on, and you are really invested in his character from the get-go, because we all see it from the beginning of the movie. And I have to mention it, I love his big, ginormous, like, bright-coloured yellow duck. And of course I talked about that in the Nightmare Before Christmas, a couple of retro Fridays ago. Can't even speak. Because of course, you know, Tim Burton threw in, you know, references to his movies. He showed Snake for Beetlejuice, and he showed the yellow duck, and that was reference to this movie, Batman Returns. And I love that he did that in Nightmare Before Christmas, and I thought I would bring that up in case some of you didn't get the chance to watch that Retro Friday a couple of weeks ago. And to me, I think Danny DeVito is the best at Penguin, and I don't think that if someone else took on his role again, good luck, because I very much doubt that anyone will ever be able to portray Penguin better than Danny DeVito. I just simply don't think it can be done. I don't think this movie can be beaten. I don't think Batman Begins can be beaten. It just isn't possible, in my personal opinion. So I think that is pretty much everything that I wanted to go over. You know, if you love snow, you love feeling festive-y, and you love watching snow falling in movies, you just constantly see really thick sheets of snow falling the whole way throughout this movie, and especially in the end scene, like what I was saying with Bruce Wayne going over and, you know, lifting up the stray black cat, just so much snow falling. That is what I love. I love watching, even in Christmas adverts. I did a reaction the other day of a Christmas trailer, and it was an animated cartoon one, and I could see snow falling outside the window, and I was all for it. Sold. You know, but I just love snow in movies. But that's not why the movie was amazing. Forget about the snow for a second. The movie was amazing because, as I say, it had a fantastic, well-written script. It did not need of course we had CGI penguins and stuff. Of course, even at the end when poor, you know, Oswald Cobblepot died, we all know how he died. You know, you could tell that when the penguins were going down the little slope to the water, that they weren't even barely touching him. And they're clearly CGI penguins. There was some real penguins, but a lot of CGI penguins. But you didn't care. You know, the movie was just so well done. And again, it wasn't splashed with a ton of CGI. It was just fantastically, phenomenally well. Is phenomenally even a word? No, it's not. I definitely don't think it is. But it was just so well done. We'll just put it in a different way. It was so well done, the whole entire movie. The feel and the tone of the movie from start to end was fantastic. I mean, I wouldn't even say it was like The Crow, because The Crow was more, what would you say, gritty and stuff like that. But The Crow and this movie are like two totally different movies. But I love how The Crow was obviously so dark from start to finish, and this movie was so dark from start to finish. So I would say that's probably why I like both of them so much. But I think I'm going to leave it there. I would be so shocked if people told me they hadn't seen this movie. But now that you've seen this, if you haven't seen it, have I advertised you to want to go and see the movie? Or not go and see it, what am I talking about? Have I advertised you to try and pick it up on eBay or Amazon or watch it or whatever? You can let me know down in the comments, because trust me, there is so many movies out there that are legendary, that are a must in anybody's lifetime to see. You know, you can't go throughout life without watching it. And I will say safely that Batman Returns is a movie that if you haven't seen it, please, you don't even need to finish watching this. I'm finishing up anyways. But stop whatever you're doing. Go and ask anybody you know in your family or friends or whatever if they have this movie, and say to them, look, I just need to borrow it for tonight and watch it, or tomorrow night or whatever. Get yourself a nice hot chocolate on the go. If you have a fire, light the fire. If you don't, stick the heating on, get a hot water bottle or whatever, and enjoy your freaking well self and watch this movie, and you are welcome. But for everybody else who has seen it, isn't it awesome? Isn't it freaking well awesome? Let me know if it's actually your favourite Batman movie, and if you're not really all that fussed on it but you do love Batman, let me know why, because I would be really interested. I'm not going to argue that you're wrong at the end of the day. If you don't like this movie, fair enough. I personally think it's amazing, but I'm not trying to say you're wrong. Anyways, I will see you all in my next video, but until then, don't forget that the Force will be with you always. Thank you so much for everything, guys, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.